She walked into her wedding night with fear in her heartbeat. He walked in believing love didn't exist. But one moment, one mistake, would bind their lives forever. Hello beautiful souls, and welcome to Ms. Love Stories channel. The place where love, drama, and unforgettable moments come alive. I'm so thrilled you're here, ready to dive into stories that will make your heart race, bring tears, and leave you believing in the power of love. Before we begin, I want to get to know all of you. Comment below and tell me where you're watching from, because in the next video, I'll give a special shout out to some of you amazing viewers from around the world. I can't wait to see how far our love story family reaches. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, so you never miss a single emotional journey. Get ready to feel, laugh, cry, and fall in love all over again, because every story we share here is for you. Now, the story begins. Rose. The rain had just stopped when the last guest stepped out of the marble chapel, leaving behind a soft echo of applause and murmured congratulations. The sky over the city shimmered with fading gold, as if even the sunset wasn't sure how to feel about the union that had just taken place. Dixon Hayes didn't wait for the limousine door to be opened for him. He stepped inside with the quiet impatience of a man who controlled entire industries, yet felt completely powerless in his own life. His tuxedo was tailored to perfection, his posture straight, his jaw sharp, his eyes unreadable. He looked like the kind of man who feared nothing, except the truth that he didn't know how to be a husband. He didn't look at his bride at first. Erica sat across from him in the limousine, hands trembling slightly on her lap, the lace of her gown glowing softly under the warm interior lights. She was beautiful in the way fragile things are beautiful, like porcelain that could shimmer or break, depending on how gently it was held. Her eyes kept flicking toward him, not out of love or excitement, but out of the quiet fear of someone who didn't know what awaited her. Neither of them spoke. The silence between them was thick, filled with everything they didn't say during the hurried engagement, during the arranged meetings, during the formal ceremony that felt more like a transaction than a beginning. Dixon's voice finally broke the stillness. "Are you comfortable?" he asked, his tone formal, as if addressing a business partner instead of a wife. Erica forced a small smile. "Why, yes. Thank you." He nodded once, but his eyes lingered on her a moment longer. There was something in her voice, too soft, too uncertain. Something that made him shift in his seat. She looked away quickly, and outside, the city lights blurred like tears on glass. The limousine rolled toward the Hayes family estate, a mansion that looked like it had been carved from wealth itself. The gates opened silently. 2 rows of lanterns flickered along the driveway, leading them to the front entrance where staff members waited in quiet lines. Erica stepped out first, guided by the wedding planner. Dixon offered his hand. She hesitated, just half a second, but enough for him to notice. He froze, his hand suspended between them. Did she not want to touch him? Did she fear him? The thought shouldn't have mattered. But it did. More than he expected. She finally placed her delicate hand in his. It was cold. "Long day," he said quietly as they walked inside. She nodded, eyes fixed on the floor. A very long one. It wasn't the wedding she dreamed of. Not the dress she imagined. Not the love story she once wished for under the stars. But life had handed her a different path. One shaped by responsibility, sacrifice, and a future she couldn't control. Dixon noticed the way she kept smoothing her gown nervously, the way she clutched her bouquet with unnecessary force. She was scared. Of him? Of the night ahead? Of marriage itself? He didn't know. And he couldn't ask. Not yet. Inside the mansion, the grand hall echoed faintly with classical music left on after the wedding reception. White roses lined the staircase. The scent was overpowering, sweet, too sweet, almost suffocating. Erica took it all in with wide eyes, overwhelmed. "This house, it's beautiful," she whispered. "The house is too large," Dixon replied, shrugging out of his jacket. "It feels empty most days." She stopped walking. For the first time, she looked directly at him. Empty. That word. It fit him. He looked powerful, composed, intimidating, but lonely too. Terribly lonely. "You don't like living alone?" she asked softly. He didn't answer immediately. His jaw tightened. "Silence is easier than disappointment," he said finally. Let's go upstairs. You must be exhausted. Erica's stomach dropped. Upstairs. To the bedroom. Yes, she was his wife now. Yes, she knew what wedding nights meant. Everyone whispered about it. Everyone expected it. But no one knew the truth. She'd never been touched before. And the thought terrified her. As they reached the staircase, Erica paused, her voice barely audible. Dixon, may I ask something? He turned, surprised by the hesitant courage in her tone. Of course. Are you angry? That this marriage was arranged? That it happened so fast? Her question hit him harder than he expected. He studied her, really studied her, for the first time that night. Her eyes were full of uncertainty, but also something else, hope. A hope she was trying so hard to hide. No, he said quietly. I'm not angry. He swallowed. I just don't know how to do this. His voice softened. How to be what you need. Her lips parted slightly at his honesty. She hadn't expected that. She thought he was made of steel. But maybe he was just as scared as she was. A gentle breath escaped her. I don't know how to do this either. For a moment, the air between them warmed, just a little. Two strangers standing on a staircase, both afraid of the same unknown. Dixon's expression softened. Erica, if you feel uncomfortable tonight. I'm fine, she said too quickly. Too defensive. Too afraid he would suspect the truth. She forced another smile. I'll be okay. But her eyes said, please don't ask more. A few steps away from the bedroom door, Dixon paused. Erica, he said again, quieter now. If there's anything you want to tell me, anything, you can. Her heart thudded painfully. There was so much she wanted to say. But fear pressed her lips shut. She shook her head. I have nothing to tell. He believed her. He shouldn't have. The bedroom door opened. The lights flickered softly. And for the first time that night, Erica wondered if stepping through that doorway would change her life forever. She had no idea how right she was. If you were Erica, would you tell him the truth before entering the room, or keep silent? Comment what you would do. The master bedroom of the Hayes estate was nothing short of breathtaking. High ceilings, soft white drapes flowing like clouds, a king-sized bed covered in ivory linens, warm candle-like lamps glowing from every corner. Everything about the room spoke of wealth, comfort, and luxury. Everything except the silence. Erica stepped inside, her breath catching in her throat. It was beautiful, yes, but it also felt like the kind of room where life could change forever. A sanctuary or a battlefield. She couldn't decide which. Dixon remained at the door for a moment, watching her. Not like a man hungry for his wedding night. More like a man trying to read a language he didn't understand. She moved toward the window, her fingers brushing the heavy velvet curtains. This room, it feels like a dream, she whispered. Dixon nodded. I had it redecorated last week. They said soft colors create comfort. She turned to him, surprised. You redecorated it for me? He looked away. It's your room too now. Something warm and strange fluttered in her chest. No one had ever made space for her before. Not physically. Not emotionally. Not anywhere. But Dixon Hayes, the man whose life was built on stone and steel, had changed something in his world for her. Even if only the colors of a room. She wanted to thank him. She wanted to say something meaningful. Instead, all she managed was a timid, "It's lovely." Dixon loosened his tie, sliding it off with a slow exhale. His shoulders relaxed for the first time that night, revealing exhaustion beneath the polished exterior. Erica watched him nervously. The simple act of him removing his tie made the air change, thicker, heavier, more intimate. She instinctively stepped back. Dixon froze. Did I do something wrong? No, she whispered. It's been a long day. He nodded slowly. You don't need to be afraid of me, Erica. Her breath trembled. I'm not afraid, she whispered, but her eyes betrayed her. He took one step closer. You're shaking. She looked down at her hands. She didn't even realize they trembled. I just feel overwhelmed, she confessed. Everything happened so fast. He softened. I know. The distance between them shrank, not physically, but emotionally. He wasn't trying to touch her. He wasn't giving in to the expectations of a wedding night. He was trying to understand her. that somehow was scarier. Erica, he said gently, I don't expect anything from you tonight. We don't have to rush anything. She nodded, relieved but also ashamed. He continued softly, we barely know each other. Intimacy isn't something I want to force. And I won't. She swallowed hard. He meant the words. He truly did. But Erica had learned long ago that expectations didn't always disappear just because someone spoke kindly. The world demanded of her. People demanded of her. Life demanded of her. Wasn't this part of marriage? Wasn't this what wives were supposed to do? She lifted her eyes to him. But you're my husband now. Yes, he said. And that's exactly why I want you to feel safe first. Her eyes stung. Safe. She couldn't remember the last time someone wanted her to feel that. She turned slightly, hiding the emotion welling in her chest. Dixon noticed anyway. Erica, he said quietly. Are you crying? She blinked rapidly. No. No, I'm fine. He stepped closer, but slowly, letting her see each movement. If you feel something, you can tell me. Her lips quivered before she could stop them. I don't want to disappoint you. Dixon exhaled sharply, painfully. You won't. You can't. You don't know that. He took another step closer. Look at me. When she did, she saw something she wasn't prepared for. Not desire. Not hunger. Not dominance. But concern. Real unfiltered concern. Erica, he said softly. I won't hurt you. Ever. A tear slipped down her cheek. He reached out a hand to wipe it. She flinched. He froze. The air shattered like glass. Her reaction sliced through him, deep and unexpected. Why did she flinch? Who hurt her before? Who taught her to fear touch? He lowered his hand slowly. Okay, he whispered. I won't touch you. Her heart clenched. I didn't mean. It's all right, he said, voice low pained. You don't owe me an explanation. But she wanted to explain. She wanted to tell him she wasn't afraid of him. She was afraid of disappointing him. Afraid of being inexperienced. Afraid he would realize she wasn't what he wanted. She just couldn't say the words. Not tonight. Not yet. Dixon walked to the dresser, pulling out a folded blanket. You can sleep on the bed, he said. I'll take the couch. Her eyes widened. No, I don't want to push you out of your own bed. It's our bed, he corrected gently. But I won't let you feel pressured. She hesitated, then whispered, thank you. He nodded once more, as if sealing a promise, then placed the blanket on the couch. As he began unbuttoning his shirt, Erica turned away quickly, cheeks burning. He smirked faintly, not out of arrogance, but out of the realization that she truly was innocent. Too innocent. And suddenly, something inside him softened even more. He didn't rush. Didn't tease. Didn't move closer. He simply said, you can change in the bathroom. There's a drawer with nightgowns prepared for you. Prepared for her. Her heart fluttered again. No one had ever prepared anything for her. Erica walked toward the bathroom door, pausing before stepping inside. Dixon, she whispered. Yes. Thank you for being gentle. He looked at her with a depth she wasn't expecting. For you, he said quietly, I will always be gentle. And the door closed softly behind her. His heart tightened. He barely knew his wife. But tonight, something had begun. Something fragile. Something dangerous. Something destined. Something that neither of them could escape. If you were Dixon, would you push for honesty, or wait for Erica to speak on her own? Tell me what you think. On their wedding night, Erica woke to the soft morning light slipping through the curtains, her body still tingling with the memory of what had happened just hours before. Her heart felt heavy with a secret she hadn't had the courage to reveal. Dixon was already up. The powerful millionaire CEO, her new husband, sat by the window, shirtless, reviewing emails as if nothing in his world had changed. But everything had changed for her. He looked up the moment she stirred. Good morning, he said gently, so different from the cold, calculating man the world feared. Erica swallowed hard. Morning. Dixon studied her face with unexpected tenderness. Did I hurt you? He asked quietly. Her breath caught. He didn't know. He had no idea she had been a virgin last night. No idea what it meant for her. No idea what it might mean now. No, she whispered, though her voice trembled. I'm okay. Relief washed over his features. He rose and sat at the edge of the bed, brushing her cheek with his thumb. Last night meant something to me, he murmured. You matter to me, Erica, more than I expected. Her chest tightened painfully. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed sharply. Dixon sighed, duty calling him back to his empire. I have a call with New York in 10 minutes, he muttered. But later, I want to take you somewhere. Just us. Erica nodded, trying to smile. Once he stepped out of the room and the door clicked shut, her smile collapsed. She pulled her knees to her chest as her mind spiraled. Their marriage had been a deal. A contract. A lifeline for her struggling family. But last night had shattered every boundary she'd built. And then it hit, the nausea. Sudden. Violent. Erica stumbled into the bathroom, gripping the sink as her stomach twisted. She barely made it to her knees before she vomited. Her hands shook. Her breath came fast. Her heart pounded in terror. No. It couldn't be. She stared at her reflection in the mirror. Pale, trembling, terrified. There was only one explanation. Last night hadn't just changed their marriage. It had changed her future. Erica was pregnant. With Dixon's child. And he still didn't know the truth about her past, or the life that might already be growing inside her. Erica spent the rest of the morning pacing the suite, her heart thundering with every step. She couldn't think straight. Her hands wouldn't stop trembling. Every time she breathed in, she felt like she might shatter. Pregnant. The word dug into her chest like a sharp hook. Not now, please, not now, she whispered into her trembling hands. But deep inside, beneath the fear, there was something else, something warm and terrifying. Hope. A soft knock at the door made her jump. Erica. Dixon's voice. She quickly washed her face and forced a smile before opening the door. Dixon stepped in, still in his tailored shirt, sleeves rolled to his forearms. His eyes softened instantly. Are you okay? You look pale. I'm fine, she lied again, forcing a laugh. Just a little tired. He nodded slowly, eyes lingering on her longer than usual, as if he sensed something was off but didn't want to push. I cleared my schedule, he said, surprising her. Today is for you. For us. Her chest tightened. Why was he being so gentle? So sweet? This wasn't the cold, intimidating CEO the world talked about. This was a man who looked at her like she mattered. Who held her like she wasn't just part of a contract. Before she could speak, he took her hand. Come with me. The car ride was quiet, but not in an uncomfortable way. Dixon kept glancing at her, his thumb brushing her knuckles like he was reassuring himself she was really there. They drove through winding coastal roads until they reached a private beach. Quiet, untouched, breathtaking. Erica gasped. It's beautiful. I bought this place years ago, Dixon said softly. But I've never brought anyone here. Her heart skipped. Anyone. Not a single woman before her. They walked along the shore, the waves brushing their feet. Erica felt the cool breeze in her hair, but her thoughts were too loud to enjoy it fully. Dixon sensed it. You're distant today, he said quietly. She froze. She looked down at the sand. There's a lot on my mind. Tell me, he urged, stepping closer. Whatever it is, you don't have to carry it alone. If he only knew. If he only knew the truth. That she was carrying a life inside her, his child, conceived on a night he didn't realize meant everything to her. Her throat tightened painfully. I can't, she whispered. Not yet. Dixon's jaw clenched subtly, but his voice stayed gentle. I won't force you, he said. But Erica, he lifted her chin. You're my wife. Whether this marriage started as an arrangement or not, you matter to me. She blinked rapidly, tears threatening. Why? She whispered. Why would someone like you care about someone like me? Dixon's breath hitched. For a moment, the powerful CEO looked almost vulnerable. Because I see you, he murmured. And because last night, something changed for me. Her knees weakened. She held his gaze, conflicted, terrified, drawn to him in ways she couldn't admit. Then a sharp wave of dizziness hit. Erica swayed. Dixon's arms shot out. Erica. I'm fine. She tried to steady herself, But the world spun. He lifted her effortlessly, panic flashing across his face. "You're not fine," he snapped, his voice trembling. "We're going to a doctor." "Now." "No," she gasped, clutching his shirt. "Dixon, please, not yet." His brows furrowed deeply. "Erica, what are you hiding from me?" She looked into his eyes and felt her heart break a little more, because the truth wouldn't stay hidden much longer. The secret growing inside her was getting stronger, and sooner or later, Dixon would find out everything, whether she was ready or not. Erica barely slept that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she felt the echo of Dixon's voice on the beach, soft, vulnerable, sincere. Words that didn't belong to a man who'd married her through a contract, but to someone who might actually care. But that wasn't possible. Not now. Not with the secret growing inside her. By morning, she'd built her walls back up. She had to. When Dixon knocked gently on the bedroom door, she straightened, smoothed her hair, and forced herself to look composed. He stepped inside with a cautious smile. "Can we talk?" "Of course," she replied, though her chest tightened painfully. He walked closer but stopped halfway, as if sensing her tension. "Yesterday scared me," he confessed. "You nearly fainted, and you wouldn't let me get help." Erica kept her gaze steady. "It was nothing. I was tired." "Erica," his voice deepened with concern. "That wasn't just exhaustion." She swallowed. "I said I'm fine." Dixon took a breath, clearly frustrated but trying to stay gentle. "I'm not your enemy," he said. "You don't have to push me away." Her heart twisted. She wasn't trying to push him away. She was trying to protect both of them. "Some things are complicated," she whispered. His jaw tensed. "Then let me help you carry whatever it is." She looked away quickly. Silence dropped between them like a stone. This was it. The pivot. He was reaching out, and she was retreating. Because if she let him near her heart, everything would fall apart. "Dixon, please," she said quietly. "Don't make this harder." His eyes flickered. Hurt, frustration, something deeper. "Harder for who? You. Or me?" Erica froze. He stepped closer, close enough for her to feel the heat of his body. "Tell me the truth," he said softly, searching her eyes. "Are you regretting this marriage?" The air cracked around her. Was she? Or was she terrified of wanting something real with him? "I don't regret anything," she managed. "I just need space." Dixon inhaled sharply. That was the last answer he expected. "Space," he repeated, voice quieter. "From me." She nodded. He stepped back immediately, shoulders tight. The distance between them suddenly felt like miles. "If that's what you want," he said, voice cool now, "I won't force myself into your life." The shift hurt more than she expected. "Dixon." "No," he cut in gently but firmly. "You've made your choice clear." He turned toward the door. For a split second, she almost reached out, almost told him the truth. But fear froze her in place. The door clicked shut behind him. Erica's knees gave out, and she sank onto the bed, trembling. Her retreat had done exactly what she feared. It had hurt him, and it had pushed him away. But worse, it had shown just how deeply she was starting to feel for him. And that was the one thing she wasn't prepared for. The following days were tense. Dixon tried to give Erica space, just as she had demanded. But life, or fate, had other plans. A sudden storm hit the city on the third morning after their wedding. Streets flooded, traffic halted, and the luxury car they were supposed to use for business meetings became useless. Dixon's usual calm was replaced with irritation, but also concern for Erica, who had been stranded in their shared estate without anyone to check on her. "I'll come with you," he said, stepping into the hall. "We can't let this storm stop us." Erica hesitated, a wall of pride rising up immediately. "I can handle it." "You don't have to." "Yes, I do," he interrupted firmly, but his voice carried no anger, only concern. "We're married now, Erica. I can't just let you struggle alone." The way he said married made her stomach twist. Married. Not an arrangement. Not a contract. Married. She wanted to argue, to push him away, but something in his tone, the soft steel of it, made her pause. They left together. The storm raged outside, sheets of rain hitting the mansion's windows with a deafening roar. The drive to the office was slow, forced to a crawl, the city becoming a river of water and chaos. Inside the car, the air was thick with unspoken tension. Erica kept her eyes on the window, tracing raindrops as they streaked down the glass. Dixon glanced at her once, then returned to the road, but his hand lingered on the gear shift, a subtle indicator of his awareness, of his silent vigilance. Hours passed, and circumstances forced them to spend the stormy morning together at a small, temporary conference space set up in one of Dixon's buildings. The storm wouldn't allow anyone else in, and Erica found herself trapped in the same room with him. The silence was suffocating. Every time she looked at him, she saw the quiet longing in his eyes, the frustration of wanting to reach her but knowing she wasn't ready. "Erica," he said softly, breaking the silence. "I don't want us to stay like this. Distant. Afraid. Hiding from each other." She shook her head. "I need time. I can't." "You can't what?" His tone was gentle but persistent. "Run from me? From us? From the truth?" Her chest tightened. The truth. The secret she carried. He didn't know yet. He had no idea that a life had begun inside her because of that one night. And she didn't know how to tell him without breaking the fragile balance between them. The storm outside mirrored the storm inside her chest. Dixon sighed and stepped closer, but he didn't force her. He respected her boundaries while still asserting his presence. "You don't have to tell me now," he said quietly. "But hiding will only make it harder, Erica. For both of us." She looked up at him, their eyes meeting across the small room. There was no judgment there. Only patience. And desire. And a quiet, unshakable pull she couldn't resist. For the first time, she realized something terrifying. No matter how much she tried to push him away, fate, or perhaps love, kept forcing them together. And the storm outside, the storm inside, would not let her hide any longer. The storm had finally passed, leaving the city drenched and quiet. But inside the small office space, the tension between Dixon and Erica had only grown heavier. Erica sat at the edge of a leather chair, fidgeting with her hands, avoiding his gaze. She felt trapped, not by the room, not by the storm, but by the unspoken truths between them. Dixon leaned against the desk, his usual commanding presence softened by concern. "Erica, I feel like there's something you're not telling me." She flinched. His words hit like a hammer. It's complicated," she whispered, voice cracking. "It's about my past." His brows knitted. "Your past?" "Erica, we promised honesty." "I know," she said quickly. "I want to tell you I do. But it's hard. And I don't want to lose you because of it." Dixon took a slow step closer. "You won't lose me. Whatever it is, it won't change the way I feel." Her heart stuttered. She had never heard sincerity like that before. Not from anyone. Not even from the people who claimed to care about her. Swallowing her fear, she began. "Before I met you, my life wasn't easy. My family, we struggled. I had to make choices I wasn't proud of. I had to protect the people I loved, sometimes at the expense of myself." Dixon's expression softened, but there was a subtle edge, a mixture of shock and curiosity. "Why are you telling me this now?" he asked quietly. "Because," her voice shook. "Because last night, you were so gentle. And I realized I've been hiding from the world for so long. Hiding from love, from trust. And now I can't hide from you." The words hung between them like fragile glass. Dixon's eyes darkened. He reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Erica, you don't have to hide anymore. I want to see everything. The real you, the parts you're afraid to show." Tears threatened again, but she blinked them back. "There's one more thing," she admitted softly. "Something I've been terrified to tell you." He leaned closer, his voice low and steady. "Whatever it is, I can handle it." Her hand trembled as she touched her stomach instinctively. His brow furrowed. You need to know," she whispered. "I think I'm pregnant." For a moment, the room went silent. Dixon's expression was unreadable. Then slowly his hand covered hers, and he looked straight into her eyes. "Erica," he breathed. "This changes everything. And nothing at the same time. I don't care about the past. I don't care about how complicated this is. What matters is you and us." She stared at him, disbelief mingling with relief. She had feared rejection, scorn, or anger. But instead, there was calm, understanding, acceptance. For the first time in her life, Erica felt safe, truly safe. And for the first time, Dixon allowed himself to feel the depth of connection that had begun the moment she entered his life. The storm outside had passed, but the storm inside them, their shared fears, vulnerabilities, and secrets, was finally beginning to settle. And in that quiet, electric moment, Erica realized something terrifying and beautiful. Love had begun to take root, and there was no turning back. After the revelations, the air between Dixon and Erica shifted. There was no longer the weight of unspoken fears. It had been replaced with something fragile, tentative, but undeniably real. They spent the morning in silence, sitting across from each other in the small office. The world outside had returned to normal. The storm cleared, cars honked, and the distant hum of the city filtered in. But inside, time seemed suspended. Erica finally spoke, her voice soft. "I didn't tell you everything because I was scared. I didn't want you to see me as weak." Dixon leaned closer, resting his elbows on his knees. "Erica, vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the only way to let someone in. And I want in." Her eyes filled with tears. She wanted to laugh and cry at the same time. Relief, fear, desire, confusion. He reached out and brushed a strand of hair from her face. His hand lingered at her cheek. "I don't care about the past. I care about you. And us. Right here. Right now." Erica's hands trembled as they found his. She felt the warmth of his palms, the solid reassurance of his presence. For the first time in her life, she felt safe. Fully safe. "You make it sound simple," she whispered, a nervous laugh escaping. "But it's not." "It doesn't have to be simple," he said, voice low and intimate. "It just has to be real. And we're real, Erica. I'm real. I'm here." Her heartbeat quickened. She leaned into him slightly, her head resting against his shoulder. The tension that had held them apart for days slowly melted away. They talked. Not about business, not about contracts, not about obligations. They talked about small things. The way the rain sounded on the roof, her favorite childhood memories, the music they both secretly loved. Laughter trickled in between pauses. Smiles softened hardened expressions. For a brief, perfect moment, the world outside ceased to exist. It was only them. Two hearts learning to trust, learning to forgive, and learning to love. Then, almost instinctively, Dixon wrapped his arms around her, holding her tightly. Erica felt the tremor of his embrace and clung to him in return. No words were needed. "I think I could get used to this," Erica whispered against his chest. "You don't have to get used to anything," he murmured. "You just have to let it happen." And in that fragile, tender moment, they both understood something powerful. Love wasn't about perfection. It wasn't about timing. It wasn't about contracts or arrangements. It was about being willing to open your heart, to risk everything, and to trust someone else with it. For Dixon and Erica, that willingness had begun, and nothing, not fear, not secrets, not the past, could take it away. The calm after their bonding felt fragile, almost too perfect. Erica had started to believe, just a little, that maybe against all odds, she could trust Dixon completely. But fate, or perhaps human weakness, was about to intervene. It started with a message. Her phone buzzed in her bag while they were having breakfast at the mansion. She hesitated before looking. It was from someone from her past, someone she had hoped never to see again. A man who had once threatened her peace, who had reminded her of the vulnerability she tried to hide. Dixon noticed her stiffen. "Everything okay?" he asked, leaning over. "It's nothing," she said, quickly sliding the phone into her pocket. But the tension in her shoulders betrayed her. "Erica," his voice was low, warning, careful. "If it's bothering you, tell me. We promised honesty, remember?" She shook her head. "It's fine. I don't want to ruin this, what we have." He nodded, but his eyes were sharp, scanning for the truth she wasn't giving. Later that evening, during a company gala, things escalated. Dixon spotted her talking to one of the guests, laughing, leaning close, and misread it instantly. His chest tightened. His mind raced. By the time he approached her, his pride had replaced patience. "Erica," he said, voice sharp, almost cold. "Who is he?" She froze. Who is who?" "The man you were just talking to. I saw the way you laughed with him, leaned in." His jaw was rigid. "Are you hiding things from me?" Erica's heart sank. "Dixon, no. But he interrupted. "I can't do this if there's deception. I trusted you." Her eyes filled with tears. "I never lied. I've been honest about everything that matters." "I don't know anymore," he snapped, frustration and hurt making his voice tremble. I thought we were building something real, Erica. But maybe I was wrong." She backed away, trembling. "You're misunderstanding. Everything is different. Please don't walk away." But pride and pain won over reason. Dixon turned and left, his shoulders tense, leaving Erica standing alone in the crowded room. The gala, the lights, the laughter around them. It all blurred into a dizzying whirlwind. She felt the first real pang of fear. Fear that her love, fragile and growing, could shatter in an instant. She sank onto a chair, trembling, realizing just how much she had let herself care. And knowing that if Dixon didn't forgive her, if he didn't come back, she would lose not just him, but the hope she had finally allowed herself to feel. The night had started with promise. Now it teetered on the edge of heartbreak. The mansion was silent that night, but Erica's mind was anything but. She sat alone in the dimly lit living room, fingers entwined, staring at the flickering candlelight on the table. Every moment of the gala played over in her mind. The misunderstanding, Dixon's sharp words, the pride that had made him walk away. She felt the weight of her own mistakes pressing down, but also the undeniable pull of her heart. Dixon, on the other hand, was in his study pacing. His pride had been wounded, his patience tested. Yet beneath it all, the raw intensity of his love for Erica burned. He wanted to apologize, to explain, but a quiet fear held him back. The fear that any gesture might push her further away. Hours passed. The night deepened. And both of them faced a truth they couldn't ignore. They had to choose. Erica's decision was first. She rose from the couch, trembling, knowing that she couldn't let fear control her any longer. She had to risk vulnerability. She walked to the study, each step echoing in the empty halls. Dixon looked up as she entered. Their eyes met, raw, honest, full of all the pain and longing they had both been holding back. "I'm sorry," Erica said, voice breaking. "I should have told you about the message, about everything. I was afraid. But I don't want to lose us over fear and misunderstanding." Dixon's chest tightened. He took a step closer. "Erica, I don't want to lose us either. I was angry, yes, but it's because I care. Because I love you more than I realized." Tears rolled down her cheeks. She extended her hand. "So what now?" He reached out slowly, taking her hand in his. "Now we decide. Pride or love? Fear or trust?" Her lips trembled as she whispered, "Love. Always love." Dixon's stern features softened, and he pulled her into a tender, lingering embrace. The anger, the misunderstanding, the storm of the past days, it all began to dissolve in that moment. "I've never been so sure of anything," he murmured into her hair. "We'll face everything together, Erica. Every obstacle, every fear together." And in that quiet, intimate moment, they both understood something profound. Love required courage, and courage required choice. They chose each other. The night that had started with heartbreak ended with hope. And though the road ahead would have challenges, they were ready to face them, hand in hand, hearts open and love unshaken. The sun rose over the mansion, painting the sky in shades of gold and rose. Inside, the air felt lighter, as though the tension and fear of the previous days had finally lifted. Erica sat at the window, her hands gently resting on her stomach, feeling the tiny movements of the life growing inside her. A soft smile curved her lips. The night of misunderstandings and heartbreaks was behind them. Dixon had returned, not with pride or anger, but with calm, steady love. He approached silently, standing behind her, his hands resting on her shoulders. She leaned back into him, feeling the warmth of his presence. "You're here," she whispered, a mix of relief and happiness in her voice. "Always," he murmured, pressing a gentle kiss to the top of her head. "I'm not going anywhere, Erica. Not now, not ever." Tears of joy glistened in her eyes. I was so afraid. I thought I might lose you. He tilted her face gently toward him. You never could. And you never will. We've faced storms together, Erica. Both inside and out. And now we're stronger than ever. She laughed softly, a sound full of warmth and new beginnings. I can't believe, after everything, we're finally here. We are, he said, holding her hand over her heart, feeling the tiny pulse of life beneath her touch. And we'll face everything from now on. Every fear, every challenge, every moment together. For a long moment, they simply held each other, letting the quiet settle around them. No words were needed. The bond between them was unshakable. A love forged through trials, honesty, and courage. Later, as the morning sun streamed through the windows, Dixon led Erica to the garden. The flowers were in bloom, the air fragrant with spring, and the world outside mirrored the peace and hope inside. They walked hand in hand, smiling, hearts aligned, knowing that whatever the future held, they would face it side by side. And in that golden morning light, Erica realized something profound. Love had not just found them. It had endured, survived, and grown stronger. What had begun as fragility was now resilience. What had begun as uncertainty was now unwavering trust. Dixon bent down to whisper in her ear. This is only the beginning, Erica. Our love, it's endless. She laughed softly and rested her head against his chest. I've waited my whole life for this moment. And for the first time in a long time, both of them knew, truly knew, that they were finally home. Thank you so much for watching this story all the way to the end. Your time, your support, and your presence here mean more than words can say. If this story touched your heart, inspired you, or kept you watching, please make sure to subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories like this one. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss a new upload. Until next time, stay blessed, stay strong, and keep believing in love. See you in the next story.